Salom aziz o'quvchilar, demak, speaking mavzulari davom etadi. Bugungi mavzuyimiz part 2 mavzusi, yana describe something that surprised you. Ya'ni sizni hayron qoldirgan bir holat haqida gapirib bering. Umuman speaking mavzularini yaxshi tomoni ko'p o'sha oldingi ishlatilgan ideyalarni bu mana shu boshqa mavzularda ham gapirib berish mumkin. Misol uchun men hozir gapirib beradigan mavzuyim aynan oldingi mavzularda ham gapirganman. Shuni o'sha scholarship yutganim, adashmasam qaysidir mavzuda gapirganman, important event bo'lish kerak. Important event bo'lish kerak edi. Ana shu important eventdagi mavzuni yana qayta gapirib beraman, ya'ni something that surprised you. Mana shunga harakat qilishingiz kerak sizam. Ya'ni har safar bir yangi bir unique narsa o'ylab topmasam, o'sha bir xil mavzularga, misol uchun bitta o'sha javobni berishingiz mumkin. Misol uchun qanaqa bo'lishi mumkin? Aytaylik, describe a famous person. Okay, describe a famous persondan tashqari describe a businessman, that or describe someone that you admire. Mana shularning hammasiga bitta javobni bersa bo'ladi, ya'ni bitta odamni bersa bo'ladi. Xuddi shunday hozirgi mana holatga important event, muhim hodisa va something that surprised you va sizni hayron qoldirgan holat. Mana shu ikkalasi bir-biriga mos tushadigan mavzular va bemalol ishlatishingiz mumkin oldingi mavzulardagi ideyalarni shu mavzuga ishlatishingiz mumkin va bu narsa yaxshi aslida, chunki shu mavzuni yaxshiroq bilasiz, ko'proq gapirib berishingiz mumkin va bu narsa something advisable. Okay, demak, describe something that surprised you, what it is, nima edi bu, how you found out about it, qanday bildingiz u nima haqida, and what you did and whether it made you happy. Mana shu mavzuda gapirib berishga harakat qilaman 2 daqiqa davomida. So I want to talk about the time when the result of my application really surprised me. So this is happening back in 2014 when I applied to do my master's degree. It was always my dream to study abroad. You know, from the time of the school years, I always wanted to do some studies abroad, but unfortunately I was unable to do my bachelor's. I did it in my own country. But I always had this desire, deep in my heart to study abroad. And after working for 2 years, after graduation of the university, I decided to resume my studies, and I did some research in the internet and found some master's programs. And I also wanted to win a scholarship because it was impossible for me to fund my master's degree because it was really expensive. So I did some research and found really great scholarships, and I applied to one of them, which was Swedish Institute scholarship offered by Swedish government, which is a really prestigious scholarship. It would cover your tuition fees, it would give you monthly allowance, it would pay for your travel expenses. So it's really a great scholarship, and all you need to do is to just apply and win the scholarship, and everything else will be paid by the Swedish government. So it was really tough and competitive scholarship because, as I said, it would cover all your expenses. So I decided just to give it a try, and just decided to apply, and with a hope to win it. So I applied, and then I was waiting for results. So results came out, and to my surprise, I actually was on the list of the winners. It was a really surprising moment for me because I wasn't expecting to win. I knew that my chances of winning the scholarship was very slim, but I had this ray of hope, and it was really surprising moment for me to find my name on the list, and I was like shouting and crying and happy at the same time, all kinds of emotions happening at the same time. So it was really a great moment for me, and I shared the news with my parents. They were also happy for me. I was also happy not just because of winning the scholarship, but also meeting up the expectations of my parents, because they always wanted me to study abroad and they wanted to be proud of me. And this was also a great achievement for them as well. So it was like, we all were over the moon, really happy, and this is a moment that I will probably never forget. Okay, that's it. So I tried to squeeze it into 2 minutes, but still was unable to do it in 2 minutes. It was a little bit more than 2 minutes, which is acceptable, which probably I would be stopped by the examiner by this time. But anyway, I tried to cover all the main points and add some additional information. Hopefully you liked my answers. Now it's time to move on to part 3 questions. Xo'p, demak mana part 2 savoliga javob berishdik. Endi part 3 savoli 36-mavzu happiness mavzusi ekan. Xo'p, birinchi savolimiz: Do you think happiness has any effect on people? Ya'ni baxt odamlarga nima deydi, foydasi bormi? Qandaydir effekti bormi, ta'siri bormi? Sure, of course. This is something that we strive for. We work to be happy. We in general live to be happy, and happiness is something that we all crave for, and happiness has huge positive impact on your mood, on your well-being, on your health, on your relationship. So, we're all trying to be happy. In terms of, if you think about our studies, our work, our relationship, and the ultimate goal is to be happy. Is it good to be unhappy? Well, I wouldn't say it's good to be unhappy all the time, but of course there would be times when you would feel unhappy. This is something that we have to go through. And I mean, you have to appreciate these moments as well, because if you are happy all the time and if you never get unhappy, this is actually going to create the situation when you do not appreciate the happiness. So to understand the happiness, you have to feel unhappiness. And also the moments of unhappiness also help us to appreciate the happy moments, appreciate the people around us, appreciate the things that we have. So you have to feel this unhappiness at certain level, at certain times in life, and this would actually help us to be happier in the long term. Now, what kinds of things make people in your country happy? Hop, qanaqa narsalar bizni mamlakatdagi odamlarni xursand qiladi? Well, in our country, perhaps the most important thing in our country, because we have this family-oriented life. So the thing that would make happy people most is probably the people who have families, is probably having children and raising up, having good children, obedient, good children. And for other ages, for example, if you think about the young people, it's most probably getting into university. For old people, spending their old years with the relatives, with the family members. So it depends on the age and the situation of the person. But these are the common things that would make people happy. Now, apart from that, we also have other things like maybe having a car and buying a house. Personally, this doesn't appeal to me much, but this is the case for many people. Now, do you think money can make people happy? Now, of course, I mean, money is not the most important ingredient to happiness, but But I think it's very important, because if you want to be happy, you should have a decent standard of life, and to be able to provide for your family, to provide for yourself, to buy the things that you want, and to be able to afford decent education, or to have a health care. For all of this, you need money. So I wouldn't say that money is everything, but you should have enough money to provide the basic necessities for your life. Do you think failures help people feel happiness? Yeah, as I said before, you have to fail before you have, in order to fully appreciate the happiness, your achievement. You should go through these hard times, and so, for example, if you get admission to university after failing it many times, you will feel much more happier than just getting it in the first time. So because when you fail, you start appreciating this final result more. So that's why I think, yeah, failure is something that is important to fully understand what is happiness. Is it important to have goals in life in order to feel happy? Well, I think yes, it's important to have goals, ambitions, plans, something that you can stick to, something that would make you wake up every morning and do the stuff. So you should have a mission in life. So it might be helping people, it might be just becoming a wealthy person maybe, but the person without any aim, without any plans in life is, probably life is going to be really boring for that person, because he has no reason to wake up in the morning and go to the work. But if you have plans, it might be, as I said, your personal or something philanthropic, like helping other people or making your family members proud of you. So you should have some plans in your life, definitely. Do you think people will be happy if they don't have goals to achieve? Now, how would you define happiness? Now, how would you define happiness? I would, of course, very broad definitions of happiness, and it's difficult to put it into just one sentence. But for me, I can talk about from my own, personal perspective. Happiness is something that is felt by inside, not outside. And many people relate happiness to things that they possess, maybe their car, their family, or the things that they have. But happiness is something that you feel inside. So you should have this inner peace. I would say inner peace is something that gives me a lot of happiness, because you have to understand yourself, and you should feel happiness from inside, and you should not be dependent on external factors. So happiness is something internal. If you feel happy inside, then you are happy. So this is my definition of happiness. Why do some people say happiness never lasts long? Well, yeah, this is like the general rule of life, that you cannot be always happy, and there would be moments when you would feel unhappiness. It might be the times when you lose a close one, or when you lose money, or when you get fired, or when you become ill. So these are the moments that every single person goes through. So you cannot expect to be all the time happy, but you should expect some certain emergency situations in your life, things that you didn't expect, things that didn't turn out the way you wanted them to turn out. So happiness would never last forever, of course, but it may last for a long time. But this is true. Yeah, it's not going to last forever. What do you do when you feel unhappy? Now, when I feel unhappy, one thing that I try to do is to sleep, because sleeping helps a lot to get over this unhappiness. And I also, at the moment when I feel the unhappiness, I try to drink water, because it calms me down, and I try to just not to show my feelings about being unhappy. Just try to overcome it by myself. I don't speak to other people. I don't talk to other people. I don't like this. I don't like talking about my problems or any feelings. Just talk to God maybe, and ask Him for help, pray. So these are the things that I do when I feel unhappy. And are people in your country happier now than they were 30 years ago? Well, to be honest, I would say that probably unhappier, because if I compare my parents' level of happiness and my grandparents' level of happiness, and the times when I talked with them about happiness, they would often say that life was very simple. Life was really happy when we were young. We didn't have to possess so many things that people now want to have. Life was very simple and was not very competitive as it is now. It was not very fast-paced. It was much more relaxed, and we felt really happy. And without technology, without these amenities, facilities, and all the possibilities that we have right now. And I think, yeah, they are. It is true to a certain extent, because nowadays we tend to work a lot. We spend a lot of time at the workplace, and when we get out of work, we glue to our phones, and we really forget to enjoy the moment that we have, because this is the time that we have right now is the only time that we have, and we forgot to appreciate the present. We're always living in the either future or the past, but we're not living in the present. So this is something that I think that we could learn from our grandparents. They knew how to live in the present. Their life was not very competitive, so probably they felt much happier. Okay, that's it. Hamma savollarga javob berishlik 11 savol ekan. Thank you for your attention, and hope to see you again next time. Take care. See you soon.